This is a presentation of my Formative 2 project strategy for the content creation project. After some reconsideration on the Kaiju project, I decided to expand my project on a whole. I changed it to my entire page instead of just one project. I did this for two reasons: to engage the community and share more content on a topic I enjoy, and as a portfolio of content, as I would like to work in the theme park industry doing digital marketing. To ensure I had good grounds to start, I then updated my Twitter so that the profile was more up to date. I created a Blogger account and created a Blue Sky account, as there was a lot of divided opinion on platform, and I decided to make sure I got the biggest reach I possibly could by going onto both. I would then cross-post on both accounts to reach a wide audience. I then began posting a variety of content to get a grasp of what worked and what the audience wanted and what was the best method in delivering that content. Content to post onto my channels. Not all have yet been posted, but so far I have posted about the Kaiju project, which was a continuation of my original plan. Blog posts, which I made posting on Blogger and then advertised them on my social medias to try and get a bigger following there. And photography, which is a more visual form of the content to contrast the writing. I also made some other assets and backgrounds, but they have not yet been posted. I created the Kaiju project posts, which details how to join the project, what it is, and the important parts such as ending date and how a winner is chosen. I tried to make the post fit the theme of the project. I used fonts and colours that I made on the assets before I opened it as a community project. I then used ChatGPT as an aid for writing, as I added in the requirements and important information, then let the AI write and format it in a way that felt both professional and challenging. I adjusted what was written by the AI, and I made it more streamlined and put it exactly how I wanted it to be. And then I created the posters in Canva. I made an account on Blogger to begin posting weekly blogs. However, it quickly became a struggle to keep up posting, as working a job and other uni projects piled up quickly, so the blog only lasted 3 consecutive weeks. I made sure to give simple titles to grab the audience and create a mix of humour into my writing. I avoided all AI in the blogs, as I wanted them to be genuine and human so that the audience could relate to them a bit more. I made sure that the posts then went out on social media so that I could link it back to the blog and get more people on my social medias and more people clicking to go onto my blog. I took the photos at theme parks that I went to and saved them so that I had content to post over the closed season, so that it was still original and interesting. I made sure to get as many different photos of a variety of rides, scenery and food so that I had a lot that I could post on the off-season. The photos were taken on a mixture of an iPhone and the Sony Vlogger camera, and then they were edited in Lightroom. I tried to match the editing style to the feel of the ride for each one. For example, Nemesis would get a dramatic kind of edit, making the shadows dark and creating a big contrast of the red pops. Most of the photos were taken at night, purposely to create a dark and striking appearance, which matches how the roller coaster was marketed. With images of the Smiler, I would up the saturation and increase the highlights to make the yellows pop out. This would give a more joyful feel to the ride, which is again how it's portrayed and how the audience would already perceive the ride. With images of food, I would focus on making sure there was something recognisable in the background that you could pick out even when slightly blurred. For example, the cookie in front of the Alton Manor building. With the food as the main focus, but it's still related to theme parks by having the background in there. I'd make sure that the food looked good, was in a bright lighting and had no shadows so that it was appealing and the main focus. To begin with, I had little interaction. However, it's important to note that during this time people were also leaving Twitter and moving to Blue Sky. Effectively, this reset who was followed and my entire algorithm, so I had to rebuild from the ground up. I think that this was a big challenge, as I had to effectively go from having a lot of followers on Twitter to no followers on Blue Sky, as well as trying to find where the majority of people were. Within a month I managed to get 20 followers on my Blue Sky and immediately I went to follow everyone who I had already followed on Twitter and began interacting with the theme park related posts to get back on the algorithm. My posts began gaining more traction once again after this change in platform began to settle down. I still made sure to cross-post so that the community on Twitter could find my Blue Sky and vice versa. Over January, my Twitter gained an increase in following and active interaction, seeing an increase in likes on posts as well as comments. This was also seen on Blue Sky, but not to the same extent as how it happened on Twitter. The lowest amount of interaction using likes as a reference for my post so far has been 2, and it was on the King Dakar post. This, however, was also the same time that a lot of people were leaving Twitter and moving to Blue Sky. From this point, there was an increase in interaction as the tension of moving platforms settled. The photos were the most popular form of content, peaking at 121 likes on the Smiler photo post. I believe that the photo post did better as they were more visual. You don't have to read it to see that it's theme park related, therefore people who don't already follow my page and know its purpose immediately saw something theme park related that they could interact with. I believe the Smiler photo did as well as it did due to it already being the most popular and well-known ride in the UK. Due to its mass marketing and the accident, people know about the Smiler even if they're not in the theme park community. This theory is further backed up by looking at the interactions in the post more closely. There's a lot of accounts that actually have nothing to do with theme parks interacting with that post, which is unusual for my usual audience. I tested a range of times for posting to see which ones seemed to do the best. After figuring out what time would be the best, being the evening as an average due to the work schedule in the UK and times of likely other countries that might engage, I decided to try and narrow it down to a more specific time using different times as an experiment. The top 2 performing posts were actually both posted at similar times, one being 3:30 in the evening and one being closer to 4. This seems to be the best time for posting on my page for my audience, so going forwards I will be using these times more and hopefully seeing an increase in reach and engagement. I did gain over 20 followers, which was my goal, however this was not via my blog like the initial target. This was mostly changing platform had become the issue here. There are several reasons I feel that the blogs did not go too well. The posts look boring as it's just words and a link. I'm not posting consistently after I stopped after the 3 posts, not giving it a chance to grow. And the content isn't catered too well to my audience. The best being a UK specific blog, which is where most of my audience is. My plan from here is to concentrate on maximising the quality of my content. Trying to post regular blogs didn't work too well, so I'm going to start taking my time to edit potentially less frequent posts, but they will be higher in quality. My audience seems to lean towards visual and interactive content, often commenting more when I ask a broad question. So I want to focus on using this kind of strategy. These changes include posting between 3:30 and 4 in the evening, posting a range of content instead of just lumping blogs into one block and photos into another, creating thumbnails for future blog posts to ensure that they are more visually appealing, and creating a wider variety of content such as posts catering specifically towards audience engagement and trying to boost my interaction rates.